Hello and welcome to the Lite app. In this video, we're going to be discussing how to import multiple programs at the same time. There's two different areas you can do it from. One is from the Programs area and the other is from Import Data. From the Programs area, you can enter in one program at a time by clicking New Program, or you can click Import to import multiple programs at the same time. So let's go ahead and click on Import. Now from here, you'll click on the sample CSV file, but before we do that, I do want to cover a couple areas that you want to make sure you import as you're entering in the data. So I'm going to click on the FAQ area. Within the FAQ area, we have definitions and explanations of different nomenclature within the Lite app. So for this area, I'm going to click on Preset Service Areas. So these are all the preset service areas that you can choose from. And a service area, again, is a grouping of services tied to an expense or budget. So for example, you might have 100 aquatics classes, and those are all tied to the aquatics budget. In addition to the service areas, we have preset service categories. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And as you can see from here, these are all the preset service categories. And again, a service category is a grouping of like services across multiple service areas. So for example, you could have a skill-based activity beginner levels aquatics class, a beginner level fitness class, a beginner level sports class, etc. You want to make sure that you use the exact type here when you're entering in the program. So let's go back to importing the file. So again, from the import data screen, you're going to click on sample. And this will download a sample CSV file in the bottom left-hand side of your screen. So let's go ahead and click on that, and that'll open up Excel. So this is the spreadsheet that you're going to use to import all your data. Before we get too far into this though, I do want to cover a couple hints that'll help you as you're importing. The first is to highlight the first row and click bold. This will tell Excel that the first column is titles to each of those different columns. The next thing I'm going to show you is above the one where the little gray arrow is, go ahead and click on that, and that'll highlight all the cells. Then put your cursor between any of the two columns until you see the cross and double click. That expands the cells to the length of the data within the cells themselves. So let's go ahead and start entering in information. So the first column is the name or the program title of the specific program that you're entering. So I'm going to type in jellyfish swim lessons 4 to 5-year-olds. And again, I'm going to expand the cells. The program type, I'm going to type program. The service category, and again, we want to use the exact spelling of the service categories that we have, and if you remember, those are listed right here. So I'm going to do skill-based activity beginner levels. So I'm going to type in skill-based activities space beginner levels. And again, if you want to double check to make sure you entered it in correctly, you can go back to the other screen and see that I didn't. I said activities instead of activity. So I want to make sure I change that to activity. All right, service area, I'm going to do aquatics. Sub area, I'm going to do child. Cost recovery goal. So this is the goal that you want for all the skill-based beginner levels, or just specifically this one class. So I'm going to type in 60%. For the facility name, type, and unit, I'm going to go ahead and just copy those down because it's going to be in the same spot. Hours per day. So this is the length of the program for one session. So I'm going to put in 0.75 because it's a 45-minute class. Days per session. So this is how many times does it meet. So if it meets Tuesdays and Thursdays for 3 weeks, that's 6 sessions. Minimum, I'm going to put 3. Max, I'm going to put 6. And now I'm going to move over a little bit. Session, I'm going to put summer for the year 2019. The start date and end date I'm going to leave blank because that's only pertinent if you're going to send this information to your marketing staff to put into your brochure. Start time, I'm going to put 10 a.m. And you want to make sure you use the same nomenclature that we're using here. So you want to make sure you put 10 space AM capital. I'm going to put 8:45 a.m. because it's a 45-minute class. The days of the week, gender, minimum age, and maximum age, I'm going to leave blank because, again, that's only pertinent if we're going to send this to the marketing staff to put into the brochure. Current fee, I'm going to put $35. Description, again, I'm going to leave that blank because we only need that if we're going to send this to the marketing staff to put in the brochure. And now we're getting into the direct expenses. So this is the instructor cost per hour. So this is the YSI instructor, the lifeguard who's teaching the class. So I'm going to put $20 per hour. The total supplies and materials is what is the cost of offering this class if you have, say, floaties or anything else that you're using in the class. So I'm going to put $100. Total facility costs, if you know it, I'm going to say it's $100. And any other direct costs that you can think of. So I'm going to put $50. Now we're into the indirect expenses. So the total coordinator cost, what this is asking you is, it's not the full salary, it's not the hourly expense, but it's the total cost of the coordinator to offer this class. So let's say that the coordinator makes $35 an hour and they spent 2 hours helping create this class. So that would be $70. Let's do the same for the supervisor. And benefits. So when you have full-time staff or part-time staff, there's always an additional expense of benefits. And they usually range from about 15 to 18, 20%. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 15%. And then any other indirect costs that you can think of. So let's go ahead and say $100. Now, I could keep entering in data here and keep entering in one by one, but hopefully you can get a report, from your recreation software that you can download that will give you this information that you can put into this spreadsheet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save this file to my desktop. So I'm going to do File, Save As, Browse. I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm just going to leave the name here and leave it as a CSV file. So I'm going to hit Save. All right, so let's go back to the app, and we're going to go back to the Import Program screen. We're going to click on Browse, and I'm going to go find that file that we just saved. I'm going to open that. And as you can see, I forgot to delete the first row. That's okay, we can delete that here in just a second. Now, we haven't imported anything yet. You have to click on the Start button. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Start. And you can see that it said that 2 of 2 programs imported. You can see the little green checks, and you see there were no errors. So now let's go to our programs screen. So you can see the first 2 here are the ones we just imported. Now, I'm going to go ahead and delete this second one because that was the sample one. But let's go look at this one that we just imported. And there it is. That concludes this video.